I asked our Facebook community to tell me what items they no longer pack on a cruise. And we're going to share today what the cool kids had to say. Now, these are items that they once thought were must-pack cruise essentials, but now they don't even make it onto the packing list. So you might want to consider no longer packing some of this stuff. Now, stick around to number 11 because it's kind of controversial, you guys. It's a little bit controversial. Now, in some cases, these experienced cruisers, they replace these products they no longer take with different things. But in other cases, they just hit the floor altogether, no longer need them, just not even packing stuff like that. Before we get started, welcome. I'm Sherry with Cruise Tips TV. It's really nice to meet you. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. And if you've been around for a while, give us a like. It really, really does help. Now, we're going to link to all of the products that we say are here to stay. So the ones that are yes, they're in for 2024 down in the comments and the description of this video so that you can decide for yourself if these are items that you want to pack. All right, so here's what the cool kids say is out, and in its place, what is in for 2024. First up, this probably won't surprise you, but over-the-door shoe hangers, they are out, friends, and they have been replaced with other storage solutions like magnet, right? Because we know that the walls in cruise ship staterooms, they are metal, so magnets stick to them, and this is a better way to stay organized. Now, there are some outliers out there who still pack the over-the-door shoe hanger. I even had people say to me, well, I actually cut mine in half. But in general, people are not packing them. And one of the reasons why is because the cruise lines are discouraging them. They can actually kind of damage the bathroom door, and they don't want you to pack them. So I've stopped packing them for a few years, and I think it's probably good advice. The next thing, number 2, is those big, bulky cameras. Most people don't bother to pack a DSLR in case they're going somewhere really scenic. Norway, Alaska, somewhere with fjords and wildlife. There's definitely exceptions to this rule, but most people, guys, they've replaced this with their cell phone or smaller cameras, maybe even a waterproof camera, maybe something like a GoPro, and they're just not taking the big, bulky cameras anymore. Just make sure you get yourself a nice, sturdy case and have some fun with it, but don't worry, don't feel like you have to pack a big, bulky DSLR. Here's another one, and I gotta tell you, this one's number 3. It's even a little bit controversial. I don't know what's more controversial, number 3 or number 11, but number 3 thing that people say that they're like, I really didn't use that. It's binoculars. We talk about binoculars all the time. We tell you if you're going to, Alaska especially, pack those binoculars. But more and more people are saying, I took them and I didn't use them. I'm going to stand firm on this and say if you're going to Alaska for the first time, take a set of binoculars. You might regret it if you don't, but then you decide if it's something that you don't want to use. The next thing that's out for 2024, it's out, yo. The cool kids say don't do it. Big old honkin' toiletry bags. Too big. Who needs this much space? Usually if you're going on a cruise, you're gonna have a little bit of like shower gel or shampoo. We don't need these big old honkin' things. They're just too stinking big. Pack something smaller. What a lot of our community says that they do instead is they pack like a TSA bag. All their liquids are in here. They might even throw their makeup in one of these. They're see-through, they can see them, but they're just like, I don't really need it. Also, these kind of pouch things are really in right now. You can put like smaller makeup items in here, makeup brushes, stuff like that. But yeah, people are replacing them with Ziploc bags or TSA type bags. Next up, this one kind of surprised me. But the next item to hit the floor was towel clips. Now, it's not that people aren't taking anything to hold their towels onto their chairs on a cruise ship. It's rather that they're using towel bands instead of the clips. So towel bands have replaced towel clips, and that's mostly because they just take up less space in their suitcase. Next up, power strips and non-surge protectors are making their way out, and they're being replaced with USB hubs. Most cruise lines will say, yes, you can take a USB hub, but you cannot take any form of a power strip. It used to be you could take a non-surge power strip if it was cruise approved, but cruise lines like Royal Caribbean, they're pushing back. These are usually fine. We've packed these on every major cruise line in the last 3 years, and they're fine. This next one is a good one. You're gonna hear people sometimes suggesting that you fill that extra European plug in your stateroom with an adapter. So it adapts it to the US type of power. But people are saying, I'm not gonna do that again, forget it. The European adapter is out because I fried my curling iron, I fried a coffee maker in my room, I had the wrong wattage. Is it wattage or voltage? I think it's wattage. So yeah, the European adapters, they're out, and they're also kind of replaced with USB hubs. Next item, people are no longer packing books like they used to. Again, you'll have the outliers who like a good paperback, but most people are going the e-reader route. They're taking a Kindle with them, and they're just not taking that bulky stuff in their bag anymore. And believe me, a Kindle is much, much smaller. Next up, this one particularly applies for people going to Alaska. But remember how when you would hear about packing for Alaska and everyone would say, you need hiking boots. You need hiking boots, you need waterproof hiking boots, you need some kind of boot. The truth is 99% of Alaskan cruisers do not need a hiking boot, and more people are kind of coming around to a different trend. And that different trend is waterproof sneakers, water resistant shoes of some sort, anything that has like a nice water resistant layer. Because the reason we were saying you need to take a hiking boot, for most people it was for water resistance. Most people aren't going on an excursion where they need the ankle support of a hiking boot. And really, only time you're going to need a hiking boot is when you're going on a strenuous hike or you need ankle support, like a glacier hike where they tell you you must have ankle support. Otherwise, look for a waterproof sneaker instead. The next one makes me sad. I don't agree with this one. I don't want this to be gone. But people are not packing their highlighter pens anymore. Wah, wah, wah. I'm like, I want to take my morning newsletter and my little highlighter and I want to mark it up. But everybody's like, I don't do that anymore. You're old school. I just use my app. All right, whatever. I'm still packing my highlighter though, I'm just saying. All right, you guys, you ready for the controversy? Oh boy, dare I even bring this up? I'm kind of nervous. I'm like nervous to say this, but somewhat of a trend to leave your fancy clothes at home, to ditch the formal wear. Now, of course, there's a lot of us who are still traditional cruisers. I'm still going to formal night. A lot of you still are. But the fact of the matter is you kind of have a choice more than ever on pretty much every single cruise line these days, except for maybe Cunard, maybe a few others. You could eat in the buffet every night in your shorts and it will be okay. So some people are ditching out the tuxedos and replacing it with whatever the heck they want, right? Maybe it's just semi-dressy. Maybe it's just, I just don't want to do formal night, but I'm okay with kind of dressing up. Maybe it's shorts every night and you're in the buffet. Next up, big suitcases. For a lot of people are a thing of the past. Now, this doesn't mean that our community says, I'm now a carry-on only packer. No, not really. People aren't really saying that. They're not saying I'm a carry-on only packer. They're just saying I'm kind of mixing it up. I'm trying like a combo of a mid-sized bag and a carry-on bag with like a personal item in a backpack. I'm not ditching like my stuff. I'm just not taking honkin' huge suitcases that are really, really hard to navigate through the ship or the airport. So people are making choices to bring their overall suitcase size down. This next one surprised me. Cruisers are moving away from packing snorkels, fins, and masks. Like on a Caribbean cruise or Mexican Riviera, people sometimes would take their whole kit of their own snorkels, fins, masks, or those kind of snorkel mask combo things. But now they're like, no, I'm not doing that, but I am just packing my mask because I really love my mask. Like that part of it they might take, but they're leaving home the fins and all that. Personally, what we do in our family is we take goggles because if you want to get in a pool, that chlorine can really burn your eyes. You could also use the goggles to do a little light snorkeling at the beach. My son and I do it all the time. We'll just like go for a little floaty swim at the beach and kind of, look down. I don't need a snorkel to see the bottom. I just need a little eye protection so my eyes don't get, tender and red and all of that. Next up, travel alarm clocks. Do you guys remember some of you who are old school and have been with us for the last 10 years, you might remember we used to take a travel alarm clock because cruise ship rooms, they still almost always don't have a clock of any type in the room, but people are replacing it with several different things. Technology has taken over. They're using their watches, They're using their cell phone. They're also using the television in the room. A lot of people actually leave their TV on in their stateroom all day long. Next one is walkie talkies. Yeah, walkie talkies are pretty much extinct. Like, they went the way of the woolly mammoth. I remember we used to talk about walkie talkies all the time. They're kind of gone. These are also now replaced with apps that we can use to text each other, and also the text capability within, like, your cruise line's app. Your cruise line might have an app where you can text the people with you. There's also things like WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, and so those are generally being kind of replaced. The next thing people are ditching are heavy day bags and beach bags, and they're replacing those heavier day bags and beach bags with things like lightweight backpacks, or just like lighter weight bags that make more sense, that aren't super heavy. So we're seeing people pack lighter things like that. And the last item, and this one shocked me. Again, I didn't see this coming when we polled our community. People are pulling back a little bit on packing lanyards for a cruise. So the things that you wear around your neck to hold your cruise card, we all used to do this, right? It was a thing. Like, you'd get on the ship, you'd go buy a lanyard. I've even bought lanyards at like Home Depot before, because they have really cool lanyards like in their key making section. And people are saying they're just using them less, and they're putting their cruise card in their pocket or their wallet, or they're replacing it with, like, they'll buy like a little purse that's like a wristlet, and they'll slip the card in the wristlet purse with their lipstick, their hand sanitizing wipes, their money, and they're no longer carrying it on their person, which I think is interesting. I think I still use a lanyard. Do I? I think I do. So those were the 17 things. The cool kids, you know, they make the rules. I don't make the rules. I just report on them. What did you guys think about this? Did I miss anything? Is there anything where you're like, psh, forget it, I don't pack that anymore, and you didn't mention it, Sherry? Tell me down below what it is that you've decided to kind of skip in 2024. Thank you all so much for watching. This was really, really fun, and thank you to our Facebook community for contributing to this kind of concept. Until next time, we'll see you on the high seas. Bye.